If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome, and thank you so much for joining us. It's another fantastically wonderful day, starting things off with the opportunity to speak to our good friends from the Cayman Heart Fund. So open line at 1 o'clock and then 1:30. Good friends from the HSC, Dr. Rhonda Reeves in particular, will join us. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure to have Miss Susie Soto in the studio. The young, energetic, enthusiastic Miss Susie.
Yeah, still going.
It's okay. How are you, Mom?
Good.
Good. Still swimming?
And you're looking good. Sure. Did a swim and just came from the gym. See?
Look at those muscles, boy. Cheryl Teagues, move aside. But it is, for us, an opportune time to talk about health and wellness, and especially in partnership with the Cayman Heart Fund. So maybe through you, Miss Susie, we can invite Miss Allison and Miss Ruba to join us. But a lot of things are always transpiring.
Yeah, we have Dr. Baraha. Dr. Bella Baraha is our real chairman lady, and she is doing a wonderful thing on World Heart Day, which we're here to celebrate on, what's the date? I think it's the 29th.
29th of September is the
29th of September?
World Heart Day.
That's Allie, our chairman. I mean, coordinator. No, you're a CEO or
I just gave myself a
coordinator?
promotion. No, I'm the coordinator of the Cayman.
She's been with us how long now? A year.
Just a little over a year.
A little over a year. She's doing a great job. She's trying to whip us all in shape.
Good luck.
And then we've got joined by an amazing, gorgeous volunteer here.
Thank you.
And Ruba. You can say your last name.
Ruba White.
It's
confusing.
When you're ready, Miss Ruba, just pull that mic a little bit closer to you. Pretend it's a fishing line, and you just ride into you. In other words. But no, and I'm glad that we can laugh, because sort of the heart is that scent of laughter for us, and it brings the joy, it embodies the love. It makes us feel like we're ready to roll. Right,
right on.
True.
I'll tell you, man.
Yeah, you got to keep it exercising.
Yeah, sometimes, the heart wants what the heart wants. And right now, some dark chocolate.
Gotta be careful about that one.
More ways than one. No, but I only joke in jest. And even though the 29th of September will be World Heart Day, we've been celebrating heart health for the longest time. And the more that we appreciate the importance of it, the more we get joy of life, but we bring not just years to life, but life to years. Yeah.
One of the joys of life to me is, I shouldn't say this, when they have these car races. And, and I wish we had I don't know, is that track still going for the young people up at East End?
Sometimes I see the guys up there trying to coordinate it, but it would be nice if we close all the streets for all the other foolishness.
Yeah.
Let's close them all and let's have like a Grand Prix. or Grand Prix.
I agree.
All the way around.
Please, yes.
That's what she's an expert at.
That'd be nice one.
Yeah,
Cayman's version of Formula One.
Then you never know, yes.
Well, this brings us into what we're doing on the 30th. It's called Sicilian Dream. Join us for an adventure of the heart. And it's a film. You should talk about the film. You tell them about the film.
The film tells the story of the history of the Targa Florio, which is in Sicily, in Italy, that started in the 1900s, and the passion behind it, and how the whole town used to celebrate the cars coming over, and they'll drop everything in their hands and go to watch the cars on the hills. And so, yeah, it's just beautiful watching how the reaction of the people was during those times. And then it stopped for a while because of some dangerous factor in there. So this is telling the history and how it came back now again and is revived from the 1970s, and people are still racing actually till today, and they love it. So
it's very exciting.
It is, it is something. I mean, just cars in general, whether it's...
So they've done this movie, and it's going to be Thursday, September 30th at 7... No, it's 6, starting at 6 o'clock. And the movie will be going at 7. And there's... You tell about the...
So is Ali.
You tell Ali, about
so
the
this
details.
is a VIP screening of A Sicilian Dream, the movie that we're showing to celebrate World Heart Day. Thursday, September 30th. The bar opens at 6, and hopefully the movie will start the screening around 7:30. We're encouraging people to wear 1920s costumes. There'll be prizes for the best dressed. So if you want to dress up, the price of the tickets is $60 Cayman, and includes a cocktail, and we'll have a little after party at Agua, I believe, afterwards. You can get tickets from salonprive.ky@gmail.com, or you can telephone Ruba. I can give out her number as well in a minute. And really, this just came about because Ruba and I are both passionate about film, and Ruba is particularly passionate about cars and automobiles. And actually, the analogy between cars and heart health is quite strong. If you think about it, if you consider the car lovers are really passionate about their cars and keeping them in tip-top shape, and you think about the engine of an automobile as an analogy for our hearts, it's actually a really nice complementary thing. So yeah,
it'll be exciting.
We're looking forward to it.
Yes.
And the thing is, I only notice from my friends who are not just car enthusiasts, but who spend a lot of time in their cars, you're seated. And to really enjoy a long drive, you have to be healthy. Those car racers, you think they're just sitting there. Okay, there's the mental aspect, but you have to be physically strong, and heart health comes into play.
If anybody's interested in tickets, they can call you now. They can call on the phone, call into Radio Cayman.
Yeah, we could offer them a special. One ticket for $60, 10 tickets for $6,000. That's a good deal. See,
I like the maths on
there you go.
Government mathematics. Why
there you go.
Spend $1 for one when you can spend $10 and get none.
Okay, Sterling. What is your number? Here?
At the studio. I was going to give you a different number. 911. No, it's 1-800-534-8255. And seriously, if people want tickets,
yeah, they want to call and ask any questions about it.
Yeah, I mean,
we're here.
She's a plethora of information.
We've got the experts here to answer the question.
What I like too, that the theme, but also the style, that Roaring's 20 dress style. For most people, they may have to reach to the back of their closet. It's just in front of mine. I can just reach in and get it. I'm sure it still fits.
Mine too.
I was reminded not long ago that my wardrobe needs updating. So I can do that. But maybe we could take a quick short break. And when we come back, let's talk about it and the importance of what Heart Fund has done and continues to do. This evening of celebration, especially now, to get people who may, because of the way the world has changed, may go back to even more sedentary lifestyle, may find that they're not enjoying each other's company as much because they can't. But here's something that we can do and to enjoy and to appreciate the value of the heart, both as the engine that pumps the blood, but the engine that drives the passion.
And there's not many seats. Yeah. There's only
this
like 56 seats.
This is a roadster, man.
Yeah. So it's like being in the car almost, 56.
There you go. 56 Chevelle?
Back to the 50s.
Oh, man, I can see a 7-1 F1. Yeah. All right, let's pause and take that short break. When we come back, more talk today.
Bro, do you really have to eat 2 sandwiches for lunch?
No, but one is for dinner. On Tuesdays at Subway, you can get the 2 subs for any size, plus a fountain drink for the price of 1.
Nah, Bobo, that sounds too good to be true. For real though, 2 subs for the price of 1 and a drink?
Each and every Tuesday now until September 28th. Buy any Subway sandwich in any size and a 32-ounce fountain drink and get an equal or lesser value sub for free. For every 2 for Tuesday purchase, be entered to win one of 3 LG 50-inch 4K smart TVs, a Grill Pro, or one of 2 retro bikes, plus many more prizes. Subway's 2 for Tuesdays is in partnership with Pepsi and Progressive Distributors. Prize drawing is September 30th. Terms and conditions apply. See in-store for details.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
To those affected by a hurricane, the damage is far greater than the eye can see. It's the helplessness and uncertainty you feel when you have no electricity or running water. It's the pain of experiencing damage to your home. But there are people right here that can help. We're CG Britke. We're your neighbors. We live here and work here too. We're always ready to answer calls and to process your claims as quickly as possible. So when a storm turns your life upside down, we're here to turn it around. CG Britke. Good like that.
We all risk getting COVID-19 and spreading it to others, maybe without even realizing that we are sick. So, if you plan on visiting or going out with friends or family, remember these tips to keep you and your loved ones safe. Wash your hands regularly. Cover your coughs and sneezes. Maintain a safe social distance from other people. Avoid handshakes, hugs, and kisses with people that you don't live with. Contact the flu hotline if you have a cold or flu-like symptoms. Let's keep working together to prevent the spread of coronavirus.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. I'm certainly always, without hesitation, can commend the Cayman Heart Fund for what it's been doing over these many years. And if anyone has ever drawn alongside Miss Susie Soto, you better be energetic to stay in touch with her and keep up. Right, Miss Susie?
You're right.
All right, so join us equally.
Not quite so.
Not quite so?
Not quite so. Slowing down a little bit.
That's one of she's swimming.
Slowing down.
The new CEO of the Heart Fund.
I would get into trouble for that later.
With Dr. Yin, you might. Dr. Bella, not so much. No, but Miss Allison, together with one of the wonderful volunteers, Miss Ruba, and I recognize that we are very, very giving, charitable, hospitable people. All who come here, we just contribute in such a wonderful way. And when we see causes like this, but an opportunity to celebrate. But Susie, none of this happens without people in their hands, but without the time and the talent. So those sponsors to draw alongside as well.
You're right. Well, we've got to mention a few of them.
Yes, please.
So one of them is that newspaper called, I think it has a little round thing, the Compass, a little round thing there.
That's why I don't get lost so much. I need to get one of those.
A little bit of those. A little bit there. We have to thank them. The Meridian, the Cayman Cinema, Cayman Distributors. That's like a little secret prize there. ERA, the real estate company.
ERA, yes.
ERA, and that's run by Paul Thompson.
The real estate, which is
in Galleria.
In Galleria, which is owned by the Tottens, Robert and Janet. I want to send special thanks to them because they were very supportive and and they made they encouraged me actually to make this happen, which is great, and they were very supportive in every way.
Cayman Luxury Real Estate, Agua, the Security Center, Tilly's, Ride, Pure Hair Salon. That sounds good.
Pilates Studio,
Pilates
Studio.
Oh, I thought it was
Pilates.
Pilates. Oh,
the Flowerdale. So yeah, we had lots of great reaction from everybody. They were very supportive, and I want to thank them all for being helpful.
Oh, and actually, it's Blackbeards.
Blackbeards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Blackbeard's going to come down on me. I don't.
It's you, Miss Susan. Nobody
get that right.
It's okay. Don't worry. No, man. But this is where
there's going to be a really nice prize for the one who can 20s it up the best. A couple.
So the pressure is on.
I'm kind of looking.
Come on, everybody dress
I
up.
mentioned Blackbeards again, so maybe somebody will want that.
So the 20s, the Roaring 20s, the Andrews sisters. Oh. Huh.
Yeah, you got to think like the Great Gatsby.
Yeah. I'm thinking, I picturing, Paris, Fitzgerald, all those in the evening.
But now the day before, we've got a couple of things going on the day before here. We've got a webinar with our female doctor as our chairman. And, of course, a lot of problems with women is they don't report the signs that they've got. They think they've got indigestion, I've got to get dinner ready, and this type of thing, and they're having heart attacks and strokes. So I believe she's going to include that in her free Zoom webinar for World Heart Day. And I'll let Ali go ahead and describe that webinar.
Yeah, so this is one of the ways that the Cayman Heart Fund chooses to give back to the community. Obviously, it's wonderful doing fundraising and awareness events, but we also want to get the message across about how to keep your heart healthy. We're the charity on island that cares about people's hearts, and we want them to keep beating for as long as possible. So on World Heart Day itself, over lunchtime, so if you get a lunch break at your desk, and you want to tune in, we were doing a free Zoom webinar from 12 till 1 p.m. It's completely free. You can sign up and register by going through our website. And Dr. Bella Baraja, who's a board-certified internist at Helix Healthcare and who is our chairperson and medical director of the Cayman Heart Fund, is going to be leading through matters of the heart. So, I think most of us in the room are aware that heart disease is still the leading cause of death for men and women globally. And that's true everywhere in the world, including the Cayman Islands. Anyone can get heart disease. Everyone has a heart. And you're obviously at risk because of genetic factors that you can't control, but there are lifestyle factors that put you more at risk. So Dr. Braha will share some of the good news about the ways that you can keep your heart healthy for as long as possible in that free Zoom webinar.
I think that's exciting because again, I go back to women and men, but we've had lately a lot of younger people with a lot of stress, and they don't get a second chance. They just, that's it. So you need to know your numbers. You need to, to have a healthy lifestyle. Exercise, even for Alzheimer's, getting older, and going through the stressful periods we've just gone through. And a lot of people are sitting on the couch. Get up off that couch because it's not helping you. Every time, I don't think my kids sat on the couch much because I'd say you can't vegetate there. Get up. You can't. And unfortunately, it's worked negatively for me because I have a son comes and he can't sit down for a minute. Anything you want me to do, Mom? Can I do this? Oh, okay. And then, looks at his watch and runs. And then, so if he doesn't keep busy, he can't stay still. So in a way, sometimes it can be a little bit much, but running around and your bicycle, gosh, get out in your bicycles. Of course, you need a big flag, and you probably need Little Cayman is the place to ride your bicycles. And here, you know, there's lots of places you can go ride your bicycles, but be careful. And the other thing I want to say is people driving cars, use your blinkers. Use your blinkers and watch the walkers and watch the people, you know, on their bikes. And the people on motorcycles, God bless you. I did drive a motorcycle. Be careful, because a lot of the drivers hate people on motorcycles. So I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm supposed to be talking about the Heart Fund, but just
Your
be
passion
careful.
is there, man. Your passion
It
is
is.
there.
I am passionate about it. And like I say, sometimes you don't get a second chance if you have a heart problem.
But you know, as you were sharing that, I'm thinking we'll get back into this discussion relative to the heating, especially with cars. But if we are cognizant of each other's health, and even walking or riding our bikes, if we can go out on the road and share the roads with all of the other road users, and have a peace of mind that we're safe. You know, you're riding your bike with your children. Maybe you're cycling really hard because you're thinking of an upcoming competition, or you just out for an evening ride just to clear the air. If your heart is at rest because you're not agitated as to how the drivers will respond to you, that itself makes the experience better, but it provides you with a peace of mind. So your passion is there, Miss.
Yeah, you know.
I know.
But you got to be careful on that bike, boy.
Yeah. So for the evening, I mean, maybe
forward that evening, we've got the amazing Maureen Coven, who I think is an amazing cook and does wonderful things. But she's having a heart cooking class, and I'm going to ask Allie to go ahead and give the... Allie does a good job on sticking to the subject. So
as a new CEO, she will.
She doesn't sidewise like me.
We've got our amazing vice chairperson of the Cayman Heart Fund, Maureen Cubban, who's also the culinary director of Zest Meals, and in conjunction with Bon Vivant Kitchen, who's loaning us the kitchen for the evening, we're going to do a Have a Heart virtual cooking class. So you can go to Zest Meals, order your meal in a kit. The kit will include ingredients for an appetizer and a main course for 2 people, and we do indulge ourselves occasionally at the Heart Fund, so there will be a bottle of wine in there. And you'll join an online Zoom meeting with Maureen, who will take you through the steps to cook yourself an awesome meal.
Personal sort of concierge approach, and many of us probably would indulge the kitchen a bit more if we felt comfortable. Maureen is amazing, as Miss Susan shared. Maybe just watching that and then working along with her or taking notes, and then at your pace one at a time going right ahead.
Yeah. Well, you get the kit. It includes all the ingredients, and then so you have to put it together.
It's perfect.
And listen to her. Listen.
Yeah, it's instructional.
Perfect for busy CEOs.
And it's only it's only
kids.
It's $125 per couple, and includes the ingredients for an appetizer and a main course. Do you know what it is?
Yeah, I can tell you. I can tell you what's cooking.
I want to hear.
I can tell you what's cooking. It will be veggie and sweet potato cakes with a green goddess dressing, followed by zesty dan dan noodles with chicken. So it's crispy caramelized ground chicken in a signature dan dan sauce with bell peppers, pak choy, cabbage, and mushrooms, and all of that wrapped up in hot, healthy whole wheat noodles. So everything cooking is heart healthy, and Maureen's she's the wizard at telling you when things are cooking, how to get the best out of the ingredients. So.
Yeah, she's our Jamie Oliver representative on the island.
Yeah.
And it's been her dream and mine to get Jamie Oliver here to do a whole island-wide, maybe...
Food revolution.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I was...
Yeah, he's obviously been the king in the kitchen of trying to get healthy meals into families and into kids and into school lunchboxes and school canteens. Yeah. Maureen's very passionate about getting kids to eat more healthily. I should have mentioned the cost of the meal kit on the Zest Meals is $125 per couple, includes meal for 2, appetizer, main course, and bottle of wine. And all the money raised from the sales of the cinema tickets and the Zest Meal boxes goes towards Cayman Heart Fund projects, including a Seed to Plate program for kids that we're hopefully launching in January 2022, where we plant kitchen gardens in the government schools and kind of show kids where healthy food comes from. So that's a project that Maureen's particularly passionate about, and hoping to raise funds on by the sales of the meal kits.
Yeah. Maureen has done a great job because she did the food table, and she's gone out to schools all over the island. I just take my hat off to her because I'm not a gardener. I can only grow basil. So I have basil and everything, but she has teaching these kids in the schools, and they had their gardens and everything, and I'm afraid Grace did her work, then destroyed a lot of the gardens.
Yeah, it's put everything back a little bit.
But Maureen is passionate about this, and I take my hat off to her. So she really works hard at helping the kids to learn.
Okay. And this is where I think, if we just get an opportunity to be part of the virtual cooking class, in the kitchen, a couple in the kitchen, it's a intimate, very endearing space. You can become not just comfortable and familiar with it, but you can appreciate how much easier it can be to eat smart, eat healthy, and be cognizant of.
Well, you did a lot of that yourself.
Yeah.
Except I think you always end it with dark chocolate and salt.
His weakness is that.
This is, but I mean, life is short. Life is to be appreciated, shared, and celebrated. Life is to be enjoyed.
Everything in moderation.
Yeah. I mean, have dessert first, right?
Yeah.
And be heart healthy. All right. Let me save myself from me. Let's pause and take that break. When you come back, share with us and certainly remind us of the evening, with the car enthusiasts, but the sort of screening the film.
Wait.
All right.
I can't wait. I've got my dress ready.
Yeah, I haven't got mine yet. All right, we're going to pause and take a break. When we come back, more talk today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Bro, do you really have to eat 2 sandwiches for lunch?
No, but one is for dinner. On Tuesdays at Subway, you can get the 2 subs for any size, plus a fountain drink for the price of 1.
Nah, Bobo, that sounds too good to be true. For real though, 2 subs for the price of 1 and a drink?
Each and every Tuesday now until September 28th. Buy any Subway sandwich in any size and a 32-ounce fountain drink and get an equal or lesser value sub for free. For every 2 for Tuesday purchase, be entered to win one of 3 LG 50-inch 4K smart TVs, a Grill Pro, or one of 2 retro bikes, plus many more prizes. Subway's 2 for Tuesdays is in partnership with Pepsi and Progressive Distributors. Prize drawing is September 30th. Terms and conditions apply. See in store for details.
Freedom, Cayman Rack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer. Each Tuesday and Thursday from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m.
The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Optical Outlook. Visit them at their new location in Anderson Square. Telephone 746-2020. Come see the difference with Optical Outlook.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecast, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. I'm always enjoy the excellent company of Miss Susie Soto. If I may say, she reminds us publicly the importance of not just being heart healthy, to being active, to be jovial, and to be gracious.
It's hard. It's hard. As you get a little bit older, or we won't call it older age, we call it getting wiser. Season. I like that, seasoned. Getting very seasoned.
Spiced up.
A little too much seasoning.
Wisdom comes with the years.
Anyway, we need you to call in for tickets. Call Sterling if you can get in. But if you want to do it and be sure, 326-2997. And you can text my friend here, my beautiful blonde friend. Looks like Sophia Loren.
Thank you. You mean?
You're bald. You're bald.
Miss Allison.
Anyway, call 326-2997, text or email. You need to say this.
Yes.
Spell it.
Salon Privé.
Yes, I can't spell it.
SALONPRIVE.KY@gmail.com.
Or the Cayman Heart Fund.
All the events are listed on the Cayman Heart Fund website. So if you go to caymanheartfund.ky/events, you can see all three, and they have the details of how to buy tickets for the cinema show, or buy a healthy Zest meal kit to get delivered to your home or office. Or if you'd like to sign up for our free online webinar on World Heart Day itself, you'll find the registration link on there.
And don't worry about being with a big group, because it's only 56 people. So, it's in the VIP
cinema,
lounge.
Yeah, it's one of the
cinema.
VIP lounges. So they've got those really nice luxurious chairs.
And $60 includes a very fancy pink drink. Very fancy pink drink. Don't want to miss that. 60. It's going to match my dress.
Oh, cool. I like
pink
that.
Drink, yes, I've planned that.
Fabulous.
Anyway, so it'll be a fun evening, and then Reba's going to fill us in on the history of the race of the Sicilian Dream, and that'll be fun because she's a lot of fun.
Thank you.
I'm glad Miss Susie said that.
and then Allie will be trying to keep us on track.
Good luck.
Yes.
Good luck. She needs it.
Pulling all the cars
she needs
back
it
at
with
one
two of us.
But it sounds like to be a promising evening, lots of fun, and then that camaraderie, that banter, reminds us of how as we socialize, even that in itself, as you share with Ali, laughter is good medicine.
It is good medicine.
Yeah, I mean, actually, the World Heart Day is a global campaign run by the World Heart Federation, and their campaign message for 2021 is use heart to connect. All the health benefits that come from connecting with other people, for socializing, spending time with the people that you love and enjoying yourself is really important now more than ever. We all know that COVID's back on our shores. We know that it tends to affect people with vulnerabilities, so heart health becomes more important than ever. So we just want to remind people about that all the time, and it's while we can.
I mean, as you were sharing, I was reflecting on a comment I shared earlier that we are in this space where, because of technology, we are connected. Because of our lives, we're interconnected, but everything is connected except the human connection is lost or is fast fading. I mean, this laughter and banter right now for me is therapeutic. It's wonderful. It's energizing.
Well, it's amazing. Like, I know my daughter Sherry and Davy, they live out in, I don't know, Timbuktu.
Yeah, not West Bay. I mean,
you know, out there on the canal, and their whole neighborhood got together in the evening at 6 o'clock. I think went out and banged pans together and hooted and howled, and I think blew conch shells and stuff, and it was really great. And I must say, I had a really lovely experience. My birthday, my neighbors all came out in the street.
They were streaking?
Sang happy birthday. Oh, it's so shocking.
So nice.
No, but that's important.
So, I mean, all those little things and,
can make a difference.
you know, families, you know, stay together, work together, and love one another. And, my goodness, just everybody get along. We've got a wonderful place we live.
Yeah.
I think we're the luckiest people. And you know, okay, be able to speak your piece, say what you think. If you and I have an argument, say what you want, I'll say what I want. And if we don't disagree, but give each other a hug afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, we've always worked like that. But lately it seems people are getting aggravated with each other and want to shove and push and get whatever. Get it on, whatever. I don't know, man.
No, but I think that as you share that sort of reminds me of why the evening that you have planned can bring people together, and especially now. And how many of us have the opportunity to really go, dress up, and fellowship in such a way that it's so meaningful, supporting a cause. You know, they say have a heart. In so many ways, do we? And this is the time that we probably should, for those who've had a hard issue, whether themselves or someone that's important to them. You appreciate life in a different way. You appreciate how there's the slightest little stress can affect you,
True.
Mentally as well as physically. You know, laughter is good medicine. Dark chocolate is even better. No, but
milk chocolate.
Milk chocolate.
No,
I like milk chocolate.
The dark good stuff, man. But we were sharing with people, and I recognize the time, and you guys have been such good fun. But for that evening, less than 60 people in a setting like that, Miss Allison.
Nice.
It would be nice. You dress up, you
let
your hair down.
It's very intimate. It's not a huge hall. It's a small group of people. Most of them know each other, and if they didn't, it will be nice for them to get to know each other. Yeah. At the end of the day, it's for a good cause, and it's good
and
fun.
And then afterwards,
everybody is welcome to join us for drinks at Agua.
I think the first 20 people
that
go in from the movie will be getting a complimentary drink.
Yes. And if anybody wants to stay, of course, later on
for dinner,
order their dinner. They will cater for them too, which would be great.
That would be nice.
This is a time to celebrate. I mean, it's September. Before we know it, because within the hurricane season will be behind us without any incident. We'll be looking at Christmas, but then is it going to be the same as it was? As we expected it. But then let's give thanks for what we have, because we never know, man has promised tomorrow. The movie
That's
itself.
True.
Yeah.
That's true.
So true.
Yeah. Embrace life, man.
Yes. Live today.
Look forward for tomorrow, but enjoy.
Yeah. Enjoy today.
So tickets, Miss Allison, again, they can either go to Cayman Heart Fund website, or they can...
CaymanHeartFund.ky/events, and all the details of all 3 events are there.
Mm-hmm. And then for you, Ms. Roba, as we perhaps invite some of your closing thoughts, the movie itself would just be a reminder of how important that engine that brings the drive, but so is the heart.
Yes, exactly. I mean, I've been on tours with these old cars, and I watched men, how they are so passionate about their sport, and how they deal with the engine as if like it's part of the family in a way. It's they look after it, and they clean it and polish it, and it's just fascinating how connected these guys are with their machines, and it was for me an eye opener how a car can be so important to a person, because in a way that's what provides them with their freedom, because you jump into your car and if the engine is running, you're on the road and you're watching, like you're living with beautiful scenery, you're smelling everything around you in the open air, and it's just fascinating. It's a fascinating experience, and I understand now why they look after their cars so much, and they treat them like this, as if they are part of their family.
There's not just men.
It's not just
some
men.
Women.
Sorry. It's not just men.
I know.
I am one of the women who love
Me
this.
too.
And you.
Me too.
We were
I
chatting,
had like 3 classic cars.
You were going to race at some point.
I had
you
a
said.
Mustang. I had a Mustang. I had a grandson. He was into cars, and he used to take me around to look at all kinds of cars and fix them up and stuff, and
get those engines running.
Yeah, and we had a wonderful time at it. But you know, sometimes fixing up those old cars can be very expensive.
It's
and then when after Bob and I were like in our early marriage, we went on a trip on the West Coast, and I just saw, it was a 54, 56 car, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was smooth. There was no chrome on it. It was a convertible that could be made into a 2-seater or 4-seater, and it was for sale for like $8,000. I could have got it. Was starting to buy it. I heard the engine when it went on. It was purred like a kitten. And Bob looked at me and said, "Now, what are you going to do with that in Cayman?" And I mean, I had to take a breath and I had to walk away.
Oh.
But I wanted that car so bad. It was beige. It was a beautiful classic car. I believe it's worth $156,000 now.
Yes, probably.
Huh. See that?
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's so much, and like Alison's sort of wonderful analogy. The engine in the car is the heart. We take care of our cars in many ways, but
Thunderbird. I think it was an old Thunderbird.
Wow.
She was beautiful.
Yes.
Whoa.
But,
outside your house.
This could be a song, Mustang Susie.
Mustang Susie.
But thank you very much, Miss Susie. Not just for the enthusiasm, but for helping us to appreciate the importance of being heart healthy. And I'm hoping that leading on the 29th, it not just be this celebration, but as we come together, we appreciate what we can. It's a pleasure to welcome you, Miss Ruba, and Miss Allison to the studio. I'm sure this won't be the last time as we come on as volunteers, but as the new CEOs.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. She's got a lot of stuff on our plates. She's got a lot of stuff to do. She's extremely good. We're extremely lucky and thankful to have Allie with us.
Well, it is, man. Well, thank you very much, and we'll talk more as the weeks go on as well. And to our listeners, just remember the Cayman Heart Fund has been the champions for heart health. The evening of the 29th promises to be another wonderful evening. We'll remind you more as the day approaches, but go on to the Heart Fund's website, caymanheartfund.com, and get your information. All right, we'll pause and take a break. When we come back, we'll welcome you to join us in some other discussion. So stay tuned.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom. Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. As of 8 a.m., the Chief Medical Officer, Dr. John Lee, reports that 478 COVID-19 tests have been carried out since this was last reported on Monday morning, September 20th. Of these, there are 3 positive tests from the community. In international news, Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party has narrowly won Canada's election, but it failed to secure a majority of seats. This is Mr. Trudeau's 3rd federal election win, but his critics say the poll was a waste of time. The Liberals are projected to win 158 seats, short of the 170 seats needed for the majority Mr. Trudeau was seeking with his early election call. Images which appear to show border agents on horseback driving migrants back to a river like cattle have sparked an investigation in the U.S. The pictures widely shared on social media show the riders using their reins against the migrants and pushing them back towards the Rio Grande in Texas. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas says his department will investigate reports of alleged abuse. He said the officers were trying to manage the migrants crossing the river. Some 13,000 mainly Haitian migrants have gathered in a makeshift camp under a bridge connecting Del Rio to Mexico's Ciudad Acuña on the U.S.-Mexico border. A Texas doctor who admitted to breaking the state's new abortion legislation has been sued in what could be a test of how lawful the mandate is. Writing for the Washington Post, Alan Braid said he had carried out a termination on a woman who was in the early stages of her pregnancy, but, quote, beyond the state's new limit. Former lawyers in Arkansas and Illinois filed lawsuits against him on Monday. The new legislation bans abortions from as early as 6 weeks into a pregnancy. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Listen to the general public. Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us. And if you might allow me to share that the Cayman Heart Fund, not just because the heart, as you know, Miss Allison reminded us, sort of the engine that drives. For those of us that remember Dickens' hard times, bound to be talking to the young Pip, saying, "Oh, obviously I must have a heart because how would blood circulate around the body?" And for some, it's just a mechanical aspect. But if you think of the car enthusiast, she is in her garage. She's not just polished the chrome on the engine. She's changed the oil, checked the filters. Depending on the car itself, she may have done some adjustments to the carburetor. Maybe it's a new one. Maybe it's one of those electric. But without the functioning purr, as Ms. Susie referenced, of that engine, the car and that ride in the evening may not be as enjoyable. And the fact that if you are somehow a little bit hesitant and reticent to move out because you think, well, you know what, she's not quite tuned. What if I don't make it back? What if we break down along the way? Well, if you translate that into our own approach to our own heart and our own health, are we looking after ourselves? I can tell you that many of us aren't. We ignore, if I can borrow the words of Mr. Roy Borden, a niggling feeling. Some of us would probably even share that there are times when, even when we know and we ignore, even when we have been diagnosed and treated, we ignore, and even when we feel the stress of our lives, we ignore, and even when we know that thing in that space, in that person, in that place that brings us that joy, that level of love, that level of sort of comfort, we sometimes don't ignore because for us, well, we think there is tomorrow. Well, let's pray that there is, and if it is, that we are part of it, and if we are part of it, that we are a productive part of it. So on the evening of the 30th, as they celebrate World Heart Day on the 29th, join Miss Susie and all of the, Cayman Heart Fund champions for a roaring 20 style evening at the movies, and not just rev your engines, but be reminded of the passion in our lives. Let's have some open line. 1:30, Dr. Rhonda Reeves over at HSA will join us for an interesting discussion. Well, there's a lot happening. I can honestly tell you that I'm not going to venture to try to answer any of the questions that have been posed. But what is very encouraging is that the questions are being posed. My concern is just twofold. Are they posed often and open enough? So are we asking those questions publicly? And when and if we do, how receptive are people to those questions? So whether it's the pastor, and I say this with consent, having a discussion with someone in the clergy, just over a small, little warm drink. And, I miss those times of fellowship, because you realize that even the psychiatrist, as well as the politician, as well as the pastor, the parent, or that senior principal in the firm, everybody needs a sort of listening ear that is confident and confidential. One that is competent and, at times compassionate. And as the pastor will lead, didn't say what, didn't say who, wasn't necessary. So the question was asked, and no answer was forthcoming. He said he was not able to provide a helpful, meaningful answer. And even though, here's the person talking and questioning, and pastor says, he responded, that's a question that requires not just prayer and deep thought, but an answer, and as we seek it together. But whatever that question was, it certainly didn't cause me to go away thinking about what is the meaning of life, or what is my purpose. We should ask those questions and not become overwhelmed if we're not able to answer, or if we're not certain of the answer we think we have. But how many times are we willing to delve deeply and draw alongside, and do we have people that we can do such to find those answers? Too often there are unasked questions, and oftentimes there are too many unanswered questions. But if we ask the question, at least there's an attempt to seek an answer. So having the unanswered question is one thing, but never asking the question perhaps is worse. And as I reflected on that, I thought, heavy is the head that hangs the crown we hear. Sometimes it's not just a position of being elected or appointed or somehow elevated or assumed, or sometimes, bestowed, not necessarily voluntarily and willingly, but upon us. Think of that couple who recently married, who perhaps, through deliberate endeavors decide that they're going to actively pursue certain activities in order that when they do plan their families, that they'll be in a better position. Maybe they'll have their homes financially. Maybe they'll have, what they think is a nest egg, at least started. Or their education will be complete, or their, careers may be on a better trajectory. And despite all of that, they find that they're expecting a child. Now, welcome with loving arms, but what does that do? Well, there are many questions to be asked and other scenarios to be posited, but let's just go to this phone. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you for calling.
You're welcome. How are you doing?
Not too bad, sir. You've been on my mind, not just because of the Nice Bears in the shortened mango season, but your thoughts have been resonating with me since the last conversation, man. You are an honorable gentleman, so good afternoon to you.
Oh, thank you so much.
How are you today?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. And I want to have a little conversation, not for a long time, but in slow motion.
Yes,
slow
sir.
Motion.
Yes, sir.
Doing.
Yes, sir.
The amount of development that's taking place in this island. Is anybody in authority considered or considering the generation that's coming up into this island?
Mm-hmm.
Where will they stay?
Yeah, that's a.
I can't fathom. I can't really grasp the thought, the idea that anyone that has acreage of property, undeveloped land, you're telling me now that because it's my land, you can't tell me what to do with it? Is it not time it's overdue like yesterday that we had a responsible government that says you can only develop a certain amount of your property. There must be something left for the island people, whether it's beachland, whether it's swampland. Come on, let's be realistic. What's in the mind of those authorities that are letting this happen? Are they human beings? Do you consider what's going to happen to your children or grandchildren that's going to be coming behind? It is something that is so disheartening to think about. You know, that other countries can see what we can't see and tell us not only that you selling it or you sold your country, you have left practically nothing behind for the future generations. And if you try to ask any question, nothing is coming forth. In this circus, is what I call it. We got a circus, that's what we inherited, and they're doing nothing about it. I mean, my God, what's going to happen to the younger generation? When the Bible tells you about the generation of vipers, somebody is going to pay and pay dearly. I'm not threatening, but the handwriting is on the wall. It is very unfair for children of the soil to see people coming in and living what we say a high-tone life. And there they are, don't have anything, no place to go, nobody to look to. I think that it is something that should be looked into like yesterday. I don't know what's going to happen, but we are not in a good shoe, my friend.
But then, as I listened to you, one quick message came through relative to your comment, and I appreciate this listener. There's something else that was added to it, but just this one part said, people own land, and I'm paraphrasing, private ownership, despite the zoning that we have that says this can't be built in this area. The question is being asked, how is the government and through laws being able, should they be able to dictate that you can't develop your property? And if not, who's going to compensate, for that? It gives an example. The person says, I have 10 acres of, land, particular zoning allows the person to do certain things. Potentially the profit amounts to, tens of millions of dollars. If I'm not allowed to do that because, and this person saying, perhaps facetiously, saying, some rare cockroach or some endemic insect or the like that's being protected so the land is unusable. What about my ability to make money from that? Before you respond, the other part is said, I do recognize that we need to promote biodiversity. We need to preserve, biodiversity. We need to ensure that we protect, our properties, not just from overdevelopment or for future generations, but the need to ensure that we are responsible inhabitants of this land. But where is the economic gain balanced against the environmental overreach?
All right. I paid attention to what you were saying, not just listening, but paying attention. If you will recall some years back, the authorities that was in, shall I say, power, for want of a better word, they changed the laws that they could take a portion of the Westway Road supposedly to sell to a private developer. That, in my opinion, that's the Queen's Highway. You just don't go and tamper with that because of what you see fit to do. Wayne, we're coming back again to what you said about the private owner of the property. how it is in other countries. You can buy the land, but they will tell you what you're going to do. Bearing in mind, a little 2x4 island like Cayman, the 3 islands probably less than 100 square miles. We are not producing any more land. We are developing land. And not sooner or later, but sooner, there will be no place to build. The government will receive no revenue from stamp duty or land sales or whatever. What they're going to tell, not necessarily you or me, but younger generations that missed an opportunity that should have been theirs.
Mm-hmm.
It's not so wonderful if you sit down and think just a few minutes. What will happen? And I'm not preaching doom and gloom, but I am saying that I am very disappointed for so many years that no one has seen it fit to say they're going to change something for the benefit of the people in the island. And regardless of what your land is worth, you have to remember the people of the land. This is their land. This is our island. Not necessarily me, which is one, but people can come in and buy the land and literally destroy it like they have destroyed their country for the sake of the almighty dollar. You know, I could go on, but I guess you got a drift of what I'm trying to say, as other people have as well.
Yes, sir.
So
yeah.
Well, I think I'll call it there unless you want to.
Always want to engage you, but I'm reminded of, the break before conversation, or conversation and a break. but thank you very much, sir. As we pause and take a short break, I will continue the discussion right after. Stay tuned.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette, brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
James William Algernon Ryan, JP, 1913 to 2007. Mr. Algie Ryan served for 17 years as head teacher in Cayman Brac. He also had a night school and taught commercial subjects, including typing and accounting. He later became a realtor, an attorney, and an insurance agent. He is today the longest-serving realtor in the Cayman Islands. He operated a weekly boat service between Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, transporting mail, cargo, and passengers. Later, he was a director of Little Cayman Enterprises, the company that developed the Southern Cross Club, the first guest facility on Little Cayman. In the early 1960s, he leased land and oversaw the construction of the Edward Bodden Airfield in Little Cayman, which is still in use today. He served for a time in the Legislative Assembly as a nominated member.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette, brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
You can now register to receive a securely verified digital copy of your COVID-19 vaccination status with QR code through the My HSA patient portal. Sign up is available at all HSA locations and at various sites throughout the community. To register, all you need is your photo ID showing date of birth and a valid email address. Visit hsa.ky and click My HSA patient portal for the sign-up schedule and more information.
You see how hard it's raining?
Yeah, and I don't have time to fight traffic and get my lunch from Subway. I have so much work to do.
Why don't you order Subway by using the Let's Eat or Bento app? Save time, stay dry, and get your sandwich fast.
I never thought of that. Great idea. I'm going to order now.
Order me a veggie pizza while you're at it.
And a cookie platter for the office.
Too busy at work or home? Is the rainy weather stopping you from dining out? Order your favorite Subway sandwich, wrap, or pizza through the Let's Eat or Bento app with fast and reliable delivery. Subway, eat fresh.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And that last caller always, inspires a sense of deep thought. As we invite you to do the same, share your thoughts with us. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. I would invite us all to, perhaps share in the sentiments of Ms. Susie Soto from her earlier comments. Let's show a lot more love one to another, even when we're assembled as friends, family, or new acquaintances, that we have a healthy sense of respect and respectability, that we're respectful not just in our comments, but in understanding that other people may have a different view. And even when we tend to agree on the same thing, you ever see a situation where you're seated at a table, perhaps it's a new restaurant, or it's a familiar one. The menu may have been changed, or it's one that you know inside out, and you order something, and a new guest in the party orders the same thing. Perhaps encouraged and influenced by you, or perhaps because after looking at the menu, thought that one thing was the most appealing. Maybe because it's new, or maybe because it's familiar. And in that exchange, you find that you like this thing, to the chagrin of all the other diners. But you finding sense of comfort in that, hey, someone else likes this thing. Maybe it's the offensive odor that causes others to be turned off. Maybe it's the spiciness of the dish. And maybe that is unusual, and considered a delicacy. Well, that newfound sort of acquaintance may, in fact, enamor you. But at some point, what if you become sort of, find yourself at odds with some opinions? Do you dismiss all the other times prior where you have had similar, viewpoints and shared similar opinions and expectations and experiences? Well, maybe that's what is happening now. We let one thing divide us, failing to realize we are more alike than we are unalike, that we have more that can unify us than can divide us. Oftentimes we are reminded that the student who comes home with 10 subjects on the report card and all A's and an A minus or a B or a C or something else, we tend to focus on that bad or less than the A. Well, is that what we should be doing? 8949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. If you're not able to access the Flow toll-free line, let's give you two options. 949-8037. If that doesn't work, 949-6990. It would be nice if a call could go through irrespective of the network that you use. But we see sometimes there's more spirit of competition than cooperation. The sense of collaboration seems to evade many of us, and yet, we're asked to live in a cooperative world. So 949-8037 or 949-6990 is that old request line that always worked. Now, you can call toll-free at 1-800-534-8255. And as we sort of endeavor to understand the things that may be unfolding in our lives, we probably find that we're conflicted and confused. Not just from those sources, whether it's an information source in print, video, or a person that may be new, but in many cases, the tried and the true and the trusted official as it may be. Because sometimes that information is miscommunicated, misinterpreted, or the people sharing are misinformed. And that banter that the former U.S. President Reagan had with former Russian President Gorbachev, the notion that there are two men in a particular era in our history that seemingly occupied a great sort of influence in the world and shaping the decisions and actions of the world, whether they were adequately advised or otherwise, whether they were just following what was shared and just actors on a world stage, or whether they were as strategic as some may have shared. But their influence certainly still impacts us to this day. Their decisions, laws that were repealed or amended or introduced, certainly shaped our lives ever since. But the U.S. presidents would always say, trust but verify. And maybe that's where we are now. And maybe that's the conflict we have in our schools, where our teachers are trying to ensure that our children are not just robotic in their response, are not just there to read and research and regurgitate, but actually able to critique. And as critical thinkers, they're questioning. So where are we as the adults, their parents, their prospective employers and coaches and the like, encouraging and nurturing that thought process? To the caller's point earlier, if we look at the pace of development, if we look at potentially the inability of not just future generations, but even now, for people being able to afford to acquire land, or if land is available, right, they can't afford it, but it may not just be available because it's already owned by someone, and whomever it is that owns it may recognize that they should hold on to it, if they can, and whatever financial sacrifice that they have to make, being prepared to at least try to do so that the next generation has, a parcel of land. Is that ownership giving people a strong sense of connection to a community? Now, some would share that they are familiar with other jurisdictions where people never own anything freehold. They just have, a life tenancy or the like. They may or may not, live in that space for an extended period, but they never own any physical real estate that they call home. Partly because the nature is to be mobile, chase the job that gives them the best promotion and opportunity for upward mobility. Or they may just be of the notion that they spend a little time in this place and a little time in that place, and at the end of their life, the cumulative sort of experiences would sum in their column in a positive way because they've got to see much. And then there are some of us for whom the thought of leaving the ancestral home, for moving away from that space, would be something that is almost unfathomable. So where are we? 8949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Miss Susan is right there when you're ready to call. We'll pause and take a break, and expecting excellent company from the HSA, one of its physicians, Dr. Rhonda Reeves. So please stay tuned for Talk Today.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. for medical lab services in Cayman. MedLab.
Call 949-7331 and ask about MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
Save every day with FedEx. Get 40% off when you ship using FedEx International Priority and an additional 5% off on your next shipment. Visit us. Visit FedEx.com keyword Caribbean discount to learn more.
20 years.
Remember when Crew Road had no median and Linford Pearson was only 2 lanes?
We do.
When Dirty Reeds was down the street?
We do.
We have been there for the falls, the growth, and the rise. When your body and mind needed to change, Powerhouse Gym has been here. We've skated with you. Your first date, your daughter's first time on skates, your son's first strike. From football to squash, to karate and hockey, to bowling and concerts, and everything in between.
For 20 years,
so much has changed, some for the good and some not so much. Through it all, King Sports Center has been here for you, for Cayman.
King Sports Center, celebrating 20 years as Cayman's home for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
Do you have plans to travel to the UK? You must provide a letter of certification from Public Health and your vaccination certificate issued in the Cayman Islands. If traveling to the UK via the Bahamas, the United States, Canada, Jamaica, or any other Amber List country. If you are traveling directly to the UK from Cayman, no letter of certification is necessary. Letters of certification may be requested by emailing vaccinecertification@hsa.ky. Travelers must attach a copy of their vaccination card as a screenshot attached to their email request. All requests will take 3 business days to process, and letters will only be issued within 3 weeks of a person's date of travel. Letters of certification are only needed if traveling to the UK via any Amber List country. Travelers to the UK coming directly from the Cayman Islands do not require a letter of certification.
For information that matters to you, the people. Hear from the government, the opposition, independents, and other experts on issues and solutions that affect you.
For the record.
Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, tune into 89.9 and 93.9 FM for Cayman's Straight Talk Morning Show. For the record.
I invite you to join me for the record. You are invited to be a part of this interesting and informative show. Embrace the opportunity to dialogue with your legislators, policymakers, and those charged with policy implementation.
For the record. Brought to you by
Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors.
Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waging to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. It is some open line, and sometimes we're just making things run and roll as we have to go. Always grateful for Tuesday rolls around and we're able to have the excellent company of good physicians and the family over at HSA. We will. When that happens, we'll share with you as you get a chance to learn a lot more about the things we can and should be doing relative to our health and well-being. And sometimes the things that we're inattentively are doing that may be hindering, hampering, or somehow not helping our health. 949-8837, 1-800-534-8255. Please, you can send us a WhatsApp if you choose. 949, 8837, 949-6990. If you want to call, WhatsApp 925-3261 and share your thoughts with us. I've reflect as we share on 2 things. The WhatsApp message that came through earlier when the caller was on, talking about ownership of property and potentially asking, do we and can we impose greater restrictions on the use of land? As I reflect on the conversation that was had earlier, suggesting that maybe we have missed so many opportunities in recent times. If we look at the way we've developed our coastline, one lady was of the view that and I've heard this a number of times from different individuals, that we seem to have approached that we would block the views, along the coast by not only building very close to the coastline, whether it's the beach, dining shore, or whatever the body of water, but the way we build, instead of it being, away from the coastline and allowing as much as an unobstructed as well as wide passage between the water and the structure, so that more can enjoy that space. We're also building in a way that is not only very high, so the light and the view is impeded, but it is such that those who are on the other side, between the building, having that building between them and the sea, they would have to go higher, as opposed to a stepped pyramid-like approach. Now we're seeing that setback within the structure itself. So the closer that, as the lady reminded us, you are to the water, the lower the height, and as you go back further, that structure can have a stepped effect as it goes higher and higher. But she suggested, why not have, the heights higher inland, being able to look over the lower heights along the coast, if, in fact, we develop the coast. But maybe it's just too late. Perhaps, as she shared, the land mass is too small in any event. Now, her final point is, when we look at Cayman and Little Cayman, are we mindful of the potential that the development has there, and what will we do? Brings us to the question of the WhatsApp as well as the caller. How do we restrict, people's use of their privately owned land when they bought it? Now, something that, if he doesn't mind us sharing publicly, which he has said repeatedly in a public forum, he says, Mr. Ezra Miller talked about when a particular parcel or parcels of land being rezoned to accommodate or benefit the request of that landowner or collected group of landowners. Why not the whole area? Why should that benefit just accrue to that particular parcel? So something that goes, as an example, from one use to another, from perhaps residential to commercial or to hotel tourism. It makes it, potentially much more valuable property. But then, as I reflect on the conversation, if you have a parcel of land and it can hold a 20,000 square foot building, now in absence, as was stressed with the discussion, you wouldn't want certain activities mixed in with other activities. But what is the difference of a 20,000 square foot house on a property as opposed to, a 20,000 square foot, duplex, triplex, fourplex, or some other, multi-family accommodation? Of course, as was shared, one house, may have 50 people in it, but it's one household, whether they're all, family or not. But 20 apartments, potential 20 individual, families, whether each family is a family of one or more than one. But the question, how are we using land? And as we allow the increased densities, what are we considering? And as land becomes, more and more developed and less available land, not only is the price going up, but perhaps the sizes of accommodations are, coming down as well. And then are people looking at it as getting value for money? And over time, the densities may be akin, very much like what we see in the larger sort of metropolitan areas in Asia or even Europe. Well, is that where we should be? Perhaps a discussion will be had, and an answer will be proffered at some point before it becomes maybe too critical. But your thoughts, in particular, on property and the way we develop. And let's look at the undeveloped areas that we have. A fine gentleman, not only because of his constant, sort of reminder publicly on his social media platforms, his personal conversations, but here publicly with us as well. Shane O.B. Edwards asking, places like Colliers and Barefoot Beach, and parts of Barcas, and places in Cayman and Little Cayman, across the entire country, on all three islands. Should we be looking at either utilizing funds, whether through entities like the National Trust or the Environmental Fund or private sector entities, being able to acquire lands that become public spaces that are vested in perpetuity for generations? I'm not sure that there are many people who do not enjoy being along the coastline. Let's go to the phones. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, Dwayne.
Hey, the man who resides on a land of beautiful people. How are you, man?
Yes, sir. And I'm loving it.
Oh,
I'm good. I just wanted to say what I've been saying for years about this stupidness about approving or people buying property and they got to kiss and they have to go through all of this red tape and bureaucracy to put a piece of the development or whatever, or whatever, the project, sorry.
Right.
Doing in the real world, what we do in the real world, zones. Zoning has borders. You have borders for zoning. Now, I remember going to Dallas way back in 1979, running from one hurricane down in South Texas. So we drove all the way up there, and I was surprised. Right there was in the city was a bunch of high-rise and office buildings and whatever, shops, stores. Right behind that, then there was a bunch of homes. Now that was their borderline right there. Now, when the guys on the side of the high-rises wanted to build a building there, they were allowed to build that. They never had to send out letters to those people behind them in their zone to ask if they could build more of those high-rise buildings. That's what is happening here. We do have zones, and we have borders for those zones. We have an industrial area. We have residential, commercial, and what's that one to the hospital? I can't remember that one now.
Yeah, so like sort of
some kind of institution, whatever, jails. Yeah, okay? It's zones. We need to get back to zoning. And if I'm going to go and build a commercial building in the commercial area that's zone commercial, I shouldn't have to be going through all this red tape, bureaucracy, asking people's permission if I can put a commercial building down there where it's zone commercial. That is our problem. And I don't know why Cayman followed that stupid, ignorant way of people have to come and beg the authority, can I put a commercial building there because it's zone commercial? Can I put a home there because it's zone residential? Doing that is the most ignorant law policy whatever I have ever heard. Okay? I can drive now up in, I go to Canada often, and you will see on a big parcel of land, common zone, Home Depot, Burger King, whatever, on that big post sign or whatever you call them, poster. Nobody objects to that. You know why? It's zoned to carry those type of buildings. Why is it here that we have, if we want to build a home and a residential, we have to send out letters to our neighbors that you're building a home?
That's so how do we address that? Because you're not the first person. Thankfully, you are one that not only willing to share it publicly, but many of us will respect from your experience, your expertise. But why are we doing that? I mean, why is it not just costly and cumbersome and bureaucratic and frustrating, but seems to add no value? You're building a house in a space, the competency within the planning authority and the planning department to ensure that a house is built, to a standard in compliance with the building codes and the like, should mean that the inhabitants as well as the surrounding neighbors are safe because of the quality of construction and the like. So maybe there's an answer there that we who don't know about construction don't get, but you're knowledgeable. So why shouldn't we?
Dwayne, I've been in it 40-something years, longer than that actually. I owned my own business 41 years, and I've been in it from back in the 70s when I got out of school. And I have never seen so much ignorance in my life. I would like for somebody to come on the radio and explain why Explain to me, because I've been asking the question over and over, why?
Mm-hmm.
Why do people have to go through all of this red tape to put a building down or a project down where it requires, where it's state, it's zoned for that particular development or project? I don't know why. I would love for them to tell me why.
Well, as you shared that, I was trying to find it so I could just repeat it verbatim, but I recall someone sharing that in some jurisdictions, not only in the U.S., but to paint your front door, you go through all sorts of, red tape just to change the color of your front door. Much less if you want to add on anything or do any sort of remodeling or the like. That's just on your own property. So, do you want to continue with the discussion after this quick break, or are you?
I think I said my
piece. Fair enough.
What I want to say, and thank you very much for doing it.
Well, thank you too, sir. Thank you so much. Talk to you very soon. Well, let's just pause and then join other callers who wish to share. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointments.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
Look at you, listening to the radio, tuning in, getting stuff done. Total doer. Maybe you're driving, maybe you're getting your oil changed or grabbing some chicken. Maybe you're doing something that's nobody's business but yours. Hey, that's cool. We're all doing something. Now you can join a whole new community of doers doing more on findyellow.com. With custom search, local experts, and trusted reviews, whatever you're doing, get it done on findyellow.com.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a non-for-profit member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. Chamber Pension has an all-in expense ratio of 0.72% over 16,000 members, $430 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s. And today, we are still strong, secure, and are here for employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or request further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
Your Radio Cayman 6 p.m. news, Monday through Friday, is brought to you by Logic, your life connected.
When we celebrate our connections to the diversity of people from all walks of life striving for recovery, we find support and courage to speak up for inclusion, respect, and opportunity. This September, celebrate National Recovery Month. Recovery is for everyone, every person, every family, every community. Call the Department of Counseling Services, Caribbean Haven Residential Center at 947-9992 for information on treatment.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. And thank you for joining us. 949-8037. 949-6990. Or if you can and wish and prefer, well, here's the toll-free line. Compliments of Flow at 1-800-534-8255. And you can WhatsApp 925-3261 and share your thoughts. Now, what do you think of the last caller's sort of perspective? That, here we are. Should we, in fact, have more restrictions on land usage or less? Should we say, as the caller said, well, this area is zoned for a certain thing, and only those activities, those types of buildings are allowed in those areas. Now, there are many of us who have perhaps not complained as much as we think we should have, or maybe have stopped complaining because seemingly nothing is being done to address it. As an instance, we've had many people over the years share that it isn't just the noise and the potential irritants of the activity, or that the activity itself could be somewhat of a nuisance. Not use that word as the lawyers would define it, but it probably would amount to the same. So you're living next door, and the adjoining property or not, too distant, an activity like auto mechanics or body repair work where the car is being hammered out and the body fill is being applied and sanded. Then there's paint. Not just that as a hobbyist or some friends coming and helping, but as a commercial ongoing activity every day, irrespective of the weekend or a holiday, irrespective of the day of the week. It's constantly ongoing. Now, many callers from many districts have sort of said, this is something that is untenable, but you're told to call this agency or this authority, and you're just told, well, nope, that's not us, that's the next one. Oh, for many, how is that being addressed? But then the flip side, the person is trying to start a business or to make ends meet, and is doing this activity in their, private space. Now, should that be allowed? Is there a way for it to continue legally and responsibly with a degree of consideration? Just use the car, because many of us like cars, but the car is being painted. Now, some will imagine that in a properly ventilated booth, with proper safety gear, and humidity and temperature control and all the like, the car may be painted in a better way. But for some, an open air compressor being applied, to use to apply the paint can work, and then whatever spray just goes into the air, no harm, no foul. Well, unless of course it sprays and it comes on your windows or your parked car, as allegedly has happened and reported by some. How do we balance that? Now, many would say, well, no big deal. Shouldn't harass people for trying to make an honest living. Others would probably quickly counter and say, wait a minute, that's not right. Give us an example. The fellow is doing a little farming on his small plot or his large plot, but adjoining neighbors are saying, well, the smell from your cows or goats or chickens is annoying. That shouldn't be allowed, and it may or may not result in this activity being discontinued. But even so, some have alleged that even in their own backyards, instead of the ornamental flowering plants, they decided to put in a vegetable garden, only to have neighbors complain, especially when it looks like, or is alleged to be, that you're producing more from the garden that goes to the table. So therefore now you're running a commercial enterprise. That sort of discussion probably, no pun intended, shouldn't bear fruit. But it is, increasingly something that we hear from time to time, where people are trying to ensure that they are as self-sufficient as possible, just in case, or that they want to improve their own health and well-being by not just growing what they eat, but eat what they grow. Now, if there's excess and they take it to a farmer's like market, or they share it with friends and family, or even sell it, should that require some sort of licensing and regulation? Or should it be something that is not allowed because you're not in that zoned area? Or because it's your privately owned land, whether you had to borrow money to purchase it or not, but you're making the payments in a timely manner, you should be allowed to do it. Maybe questions that are not significant at this moment, but maybe they are, and because we're not sure of the answer, or we don't want the possible, contentious discussion that could emanate from even broaching the subject, we ignore and avoid it. Now, maybe there's time that we have some members of our society to test some of these things just to see. But we were reminded of some of the cases that end up before the highest court in some jurisdictions. They only go there because someone had the wherewithal, the tenacity, the financial backing, the support of some entity or person to advance the discussion because the outcome was sufficient. Take, for instance, the person who decides that a particular course of medical treatment, quote-unquote medical treatment, is in their best interest, but it's not allowed singular by, the practice. Well, should that be something that the courts decide? Is that something that is a personal decision? If you can refuse, treatment after your physician has said, take this or the possibility of, this outcome, well, should you not be able to pursue something else? All right, the news break is there, and we got some phone calls as we'll take them right after the news. Please stay tuned for Talk Today.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecasts, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
You are listening to Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. All post offices close at 3:30 today to facilitate an urgent staff meeting. Management also asks customers when visiting a post office to wear face masks and sanitize their hands. In international news, an erupting volcano on La Palma in the Spanish Canary Islands has forced authorities to evacuate another village in the path of lava gushing towards the sea. The evacuation of El Paso was ordered after lava started spewing from a new crack in the Cumbre Vieja volcano. More than 6,000 people have fled from lava that has buried hundreds of homes since the eruption began on Sunday. 4 earthquakes hit the island shortly after the new eruption vent opened. It's a day of mourning in Russian city Perm after a gunman killed 6 people and wounded 24 others at the local university. The attacker was a first-year student, and most of his victims were fellow students. At the university, they instinctively knew how to act. Students barricaded themselves inside classes and kept away from windows. Some hid on the floor and under desks. Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan has said preventing women from accessing education in neighboring Afghanistan would be un-Islamic. In an interview with the BBC, Mr. Khan laid out the conditions that would need to be met for Pakistan to formally recognize the new Taliban government. He called for the leadership to be inclusive and to respect human rights. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Listen to the general public.
Your thoughts are just a telephone call away. 1-800-534-8255.
What the public is saying.
Let your voice be heard. And now,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks very much for joining us. It is open line as we go straight to our phones. Good afternoon, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling Dwayne.
Hey, wow. You look for knowledge, you ask the question, and expertise appears. Good afternoon, my friend.
Oh, Sterling, you're so smooth.
Well, thank you. But my son reminds me, you don't want your brain to be smooth. You want those ripples. That's one place where you want ripples.
Okay. We're just calling briefly in reply to an earlier caller. I recognize his voice, but I'm not sure where he announced his name, so I will not say it. But this is Kenneth or Clyde, whichever you could call me.
Yeah.
And I was talking about some of the red tape planning and this and that, and why if the zoning is there, we have to go through all this red tape. A simple answer is that, okay, that is the law, but not that the law can't be changed. Because in some other jurisdictions, they have what you call as of right zoning. So, for example, in a commercial zone, if you want to put a commercial building and you meet all the other criteria, then all the technical details can be done within the office, within the department, as opposed to having to go to the CPA. Only if you're asking for some variance, will it then go to the CPA. Some of the jurisdictions call it a variance board, and all they hear are just requests for variances. So I think, in short, that would sort of answer his question.
Now, what about the whole idea, as he may have alluded to, and others have shared, that you own, you can go on, I was going to ask you, I don't want to interrupt you, you own property, why not be allowed to build on the property, as you wish?
Dwayne, yes. If you do that, then if everybody is allowed to do as they feel, can you imagine the type of world we live in? There has to be some minimum community standards. Just allowing everybody to do as they feel. No, can you imagine driving on the road if everybody decided, okay, today I'm going to drive on the right?
Go in the direction they want to go and how they want to go. It's fast, right? Okay.
Right.
All right. So, definitely. So then what about like in zoning? In the Cayman context, there's a lot of discussion, and maybe it's us who don't know or are confused, but what do we have? Do we have sort of zoning laws, or what is it that we operate under? How is our land usage and sort of approvals sort of given under?
Again, in short, you got the Development and Planning Act. Now, you did a law before the Act, and you got the regulation. And the law sort of spells out, okay, you need to have these different zones. Then the regulation would sort of give you the specifics as to what you can and cannot do within those different zones. Again, for example, okay, using residential, and I would say, okay, well, the maximum height in the residential zone, like three stories or 4 or whatever. Certain setbacks, your site coverage, the density, number of dwelling units per acre. You need to have the septic tank of a certain size. So all those things are spelled out in a regulation.
Right. Is it then that some of those things, let's say a setback, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was sort of rushing someplace, so I just pulled off the road to answer that.
I appreciate that, and remember that.
I'll try to provide an answer to that previous caller.
Okay. Well, you do always, and I'll reach out to you on that other matter, but that invitation still stands, right? So look out for
Okay. Let's do one day next week.
Yeah. Sounds like a plan. All right.
Okay, man.
Be safe and be well, and thank you so much for helping us to be informed. All right.
You're most welcome. All the best.
All the best, man.
Okay.
All right. See, this is perhaps what most of us in this country appreciate, but probably seldom value and so easily take for granted. We have a wealth of experience and expertise in our midst, many of whom are grown from the soil, many of whom have come from afar and just show an incredible love, value, and respect for the country. So let's harness that. And let's recognize that we are more alike than we are not alike. And that if we share the common objective and vision for making this a best place ever, we can do that. Let's go to the phones. Welcome, good afternoon, and thank you for calling. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dwayne.
How are you this afternoon?
I'm good, man. Listen to this talk show. Great talk show, as usual.
Well, thank you, and you contributing, making it better. All right.
Yeah, man. Well, again, reel back a little bit now. You were speaking about preserving land for future generations of Caymanians.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is my take on it from a long time ago, and it's still going the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
Like I keep on asking, who are we really building for, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if we ask the question and we look at what they give us, the example, we can see, not for the indigenous people who are here. So in saying so, that's why, to answer your question, that's why the government or the associations or whoever the powers that be, they aren't looking to find land where they can lock hold for locals.
Mm-hmm.
Or for the lesser ones who can't really afford the one bedroom for $400,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Because it is ridiculous, because if you're going to match it with our cost of living wage, or I don't know what they want to call it nowadays, the $6 an hour wage that they say that's across the board, where all employees are basically working on that same level.
Mm-hmm.
If they say that, and they can show me a bank, any bank in Cayman, because we have 1 million of them, that would accept me as a mortgagee at $6 an hour to get a one bedroom that can cost me $400,000. Open the door, please, because they can tell me, say that's way more than 50% or 70% of my living wage for the month.
Yeah.
So they can't do that. So it's a liability to them.
Right.
So why are we in the same pretense, like we don't know what's going on? Like I tell them, say, look, the book is there for everybody to read, and everybody could read because it's life. We all live in it.
Right.
And we all seen the same thing, and everybody comes with the problems and the questions, but I still don't see no solutions, really, because all these years I hear more than me talking about the same situation, but there's nothing being done about it. Just like the 7 Mile Beach, you know? Years ago, that was made to say, well, here, nobody builds on that beach side, but 1-2 slips off the pocket and greasing palms. Look at it now, we can't see the beach.
Yeah. You share something that I think has created the perception, unfortunate or otherwise, that kisses go by favors. So this happens for this reason, for this person in this place at this time. How do we address that? Because even if it's not the reality, the fact that it is a perception that is openly repeated and almost accepted, it seems to be the order of the day. So what do we do about that?
Well, I can tell you now, well, for me, I can't do nothing, me personally, apart from flap my gums and try to plant a tree that can grow plant a seed that can grow a tree that people eat food from.
Yeah, man.
Know what I mean? But on that same basis, if it's who do you report to, when the man at the top that you report to doing the same thing?
Okay. So then, does it not then come to, I keep saying it's the people, and I'm not trying to...
Unity.
Yeah,
Unity. That's my preach every day. If we don't have that, that's the Roman... Okay, if we are so biblical here, right? And we don't... It's like the Bible comes to a full 360, you know. So in the beginning, it tells you in the Bible, so in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. Okay, we have watched the Romans and how they conquer. And we have taken the pages out of the book and they're still doing the same thing to us after all these thousands of years. Is divide and conquer, and we don't get it.
Yeah.
Okay, I can put it in the government way now. We had 5 legislation when you had the real iron men and wooden ships. We had the Linford Pearsons and all them other people there back then when I was a boy growing up. And we only had 5 for this whole island. And I think we were doing very well because I think we had way more growth as a society, as a people, not as numbers, but as a people. Everybody living in harmony and everybody is doing okay back then than we do now.
Yeah.
Now is a dog-eat-dog world. If you slip, you die.
Yeah. As I listen to you, I reflect on a comment that I hear often from a good friend as she shares that, we live in Cayman, but how many of us see the beauty and how much of it have we taken for granted? So let's say, and sadly, there's less and less available undeveloped land that you can access. Yeah. But let's say you're walking in, for want of a better word, in the wilderness, looking at birds and butterflies. Maybe you're just out in nature, as that is. But that is, only undeveloped now because the private landowner has decided or is unable or unwilling at that time to develop it. But how many of us see the beauty of, that particular bird or that particular plant? We may see it as a weed or a nuisance.
Well, I can tell you something. You see, years ago, I wish, and again, I could start it any time now, but my childhood has disappeared. When I said that now, a lot of places I've seen overdeveloped, not even developed. I've just put it way overdeveloped. The island is nothing island about it. Overdeveloped, like what they put in South Sound now. Overdeveloped is not South Sound, is not that peace and tranquil place you to drive through and look at the weeping willows, look at the side and stuff. That's gone. You get a feel of a concrete jungle when you're driving through there. Now you can't see the seaside, so. And when I see that now, or when I say that, I wish, and I always wish that I have captured time in the moment with a picture to show what it was. Even where Red Rabbit is, every day I got past this place. And like I see a ghost over there now. I see the whole building.
Yeah.
I see the ghost there and wonder why did they move that? Why did they have to take that away? For what? To put a little piece of road with nothing?
Well, it kind of, as you share, it comes to mind that like so many things in our midst, we have accepted without question, or we have acknowledged without even recognizing. I take, for instance, just names of places, and there are a lot of them that I think have passed away, but just 2 that it seems, to me in a way, to be something that we're not considering. And I'll ask you because I could be mistaken. When we were younger, and I'm probably, a little bit in years compared to you, right? But when we said the public beach, whether you lived in East End or West Bay, where was that? Right?
Boy, that's gone. I don't know, because right now you got paid to use the amenities on your own sand. So I don't understand that.
Right. So it isn't that we have to now distinguish it as the 7 Mile public beach. My friends who were, born in the East and drove the bus in the morning to come to school where we met, the public beach was the public beach, right? It wasn't the West Bay public beach. It wasn't 7 Mile public beach.
For everybody.
All right. And look at the sign that we erected called Bata. I can't even say it. It's Boromanu, right?
Yeah.
And we will not change the spelling, nor we will not insist on the correct pronunciation. The linguist from Cambridge, she shared with me that, we look at the origins of it. Simple things, right? Captain Paul and others have reminded us, if we allow, time to pass and they go unchallenged, future generations will have no clue, So when they look,
nothing.
And it's not just about, as you said, overdevelopment, but to think of the friends that we have who have been here for 30 and 40 years. They were not born here. They came here as adults. Listen to what they share, and you understand that their concerns, their questions are reflective of what we're saying. Now, either Miss Susan is telling the camera service pilot that it's time to land, or she's telling me that we got a break. I can't pretend to ignore her. You want to continue the discussion, or you want to call it a day?
I'd like to continue. I have a little bit more to say.
All right. And then for those callers after you, we'll get to them, man. Hey, stay tuned for Talk Today.
busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Ask our professional team about the benefits of cutting-edge technology with MedLab's new state-of-the-art digital mammogram machine.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands. The ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom. The land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Optical Outlook Caymanian Village location has moved. Same great services and products, new location. We've moved to Anderson Square in central Georgetown. It's a much larger space with dedicated parking. Please call us on 746-2020 to make your appointment at our new location today. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Please come see the difference with Optical Outlook, Cayman's premier optical provider.
Dress for success and demonstrate school pride by learning and following the National Dress Code policy and the specific dress code for each government school. Under the National Dress Code policy, boys' hair must be cut short and of natural color. Uniform shirts must be neatly tucked in, undergarments concealed, sneakers or shoes black, and jewelry limited to a wristwatch. Take pride in your stride today. View the complete dress code policy at www.education.gov.ky. This is a message from the Ministry of Education.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And as we quickly go back to the phones for this caller and the others after, always honored to listen to the callers. Hey, thanks for holding on, my friend.
Yes, sir. Well, let me finish off quickly. I know other people are waiting to,
Yeah, man, thank you.
Well, back to this land issue. Okay, let me get a little small analogy. Okay, as close to us as Brazil, they were in the same situation where they were looking to habitate the place with people, right? And what they did, they overbuilt so much. If you ever see a picture of how the people of the soil live in Brazil, 90% of them, you'd be amazed because they live in, I would say, I don't even know how to measure that. Maybe a 12 by 12, and that's a house. And it's about 1 million houses beside you going right up on the mountains and stuff. I got to tell my government this have to stop at some point. Future governments and whoever is thinking about running for government, we have to think about our people. We can't just commercialize our homes. You can't make my house an amusement park. We have to look into the helping the people. It's the people who grew this place to what it is that everybody else wants to accept. Because when mosquitoes were killing cows, nobody came here. Nobody wanted to come here. Now that we have developed a certain way and a certain way of life, they come in here and say it's too good for us now. No, something is wrong with this. And they say that what has been done can't be taken back. We can stop it anytime. That's a lie. We can stop it anytime. The same way laws are written, they can be rewritten to help the people once they're in a good context or they're doing something good for the people. So when they say that, we have done this already and it's gone, no. We could start it over right now. Whoever got be disgruntled because they got dipped in it or they lost whatever they put in it, okay, so be it. Let's start over. Because we're losing our own people, our own identities, our own culture. And a nation without a culture is not a nation at all.
Not much future. Yeah.
No future.
Yeah, man.
And I tell you, I have 3 kids. My youngest is 7-year-old. And right now, I can't think a year from now to say, well, what's possible, what's not possible. Because the way how this system has me. A lot of people has run left here. But I tell them, say what? I have to be the last living thing on this island before I leave. No matter how they want to ostracize it. And I tell them for the last time, don't let it be like the iguanas. I keep on giving the analogy of the blue iguana being indigenous species. They were here all this while, and they were flourishing. Then these invasive green iguanas came, and we had to put all the blue ones in a little part. And look what happened to the green ones now. We got to be culling them. Not preaching violence, but it is a fact of what I see happening.
Yeah, nature, huh?
It's a fact.
Yeah, man.
Cat against the wall.
Yeah, boss. All right.
Thank you very much for making me rant and have my little say.
Well, thank you for taking. You too. All the best. All right, let's take all the calls. Thank you for your patience and sharing with us. Good afternoon.
Are you sure about that?
Hi, yes, ma'am. Yeah, of course. I'm glad. How are you?
Not too bad. You know, I was listening to my dear friend Stan. You know, Sterling, when property start booming here and sales, people start buying, especially foreigners. We had A1 contractors here, like Stan and Peter, Alan Miles, and you name them. Someone in West Bay that was great contractors and so forth, and they got great jobs, and you know everything was fine and dandy, and everybody was surviving, and Sala was being built up, but it wasn't being built, I would say, like it is today, which is, I'm talking about years gone by, you understand? But Sterling, when people have property and they sell the property, we, as the people of this island, I don't know if we really have to say what they can build and what they can't build, because then their property grandfather sold it to the individual, because then there was probably need of money for medical or to build their own house elsewhere, or you just didn't know, you understand? But it was sold, and it was sold very reasonable, and we started bringing in these big construction companies here to do these huge hotels and big office buildings and so forth. That's where our Cayman men lose sight in doing construction here on the island. I don't care how much bid they put in, the bid to them, no, they don't want, I mean, that is just too much, or I can get my client to do it cheaper and yak, and then they came on and go back to the board and try to work it out and say, well, let me see if I can drop a couple of $1,000. But the matter is that they got this mentality. These people, when they're building, that come here and building, that they came in and don't know anything about building. But look at how much good buildings these people have put down here in this island before we brought these big contractors in here. Look at the contractor that came here to build the school up at North Side. And that was one big mess. I met a gentleman off the cruise ship said that the man was building that hotel. I mean, that school. Well, his neighbor. Yeah. But I just, it bleeds our heart to see what's happening here. But I don't think that there's any government that can stop anything to a degree, because then the majority of land has been already sold, and the people going to put what they want to put on it to a degree. Understand? Because then what they should have laws and regulations on, they don't. About it when it comes to building, it never started from the beginning. So it can't start, so it's too late. And when I say it's too late to a degree, because then when the man bought the piece of property 25 years ago, he said, I'm going to put a hotel on this. But he never put it on at the present time, but he wants to put it on now. And we are all up in arms. I'm not here taking nobody's side. But we are just left out in the dark. And we can always be left out in the dark to the fact that we as Caymanians, the rescue that's left, we run our mouth.
Right.
But we won't come from under the almond tree.
Right.
And stand up.
Yep.
We refuse to stand up. And if we don't stand up, we can lose everything here in Cayman.
Yeah. Well, time to do so in a responsible, respectful way. Thank you very much, Mom. And if you would, So allow us to go to the next call as we near the end of the program. Welcome. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hey, how are you today?
I've fallen asleep on the phone.
Well, let us see if we can do something about that. Talk to us.
Yeah, I want to find out from you if the $16,000 for every politician that had got to clean up the place from Sister Grace that came visit us lately. That money done?
16,000 probably doesn't go as far as it used to.
Each one West Bay got 4 alone. That money done?
Maybe. Probably so.
So we should know. They need to make it public if it's done. Anyway, I want them to take a good drive down by Boston Bay Cemetery for me. Smooth out that piece of bush that they knocked down, because NRA came down there and cleared it up down, but they didn't smooth it out. Kind of smooth it out, make it look a little more better, because it had looked better when it was like that before. Take a drive up the cemetery and try to straighten up them trees and take them away, carry them away. And because one tree is blocking me, you can't go right around the cemetery. Walk around, one tree branch is blocking right there, and then a big old grape tree is down there for all I know. A group went down there for one whole week, and they must have sat down there the whole week, chopped 2 little limbs, and that was it. Because I was watching what was going on. I put a good on that. And so, I'm not a troublemaker, and then know that people don't like me, so add a little more to the pot wouldn't hurt me.
Right.
But like I say, they need to go down there. Who in charge of West Bay North? Take a drive down there, so get that clean up.
All right.
And Boston Bay Cemetery wall is a disgrace. They need to do something with that. All the painting and the clean-up campaign they had for years, they wouldn't put a little bit of paint on it, brush it up, fix it up, and make it look like something. You understand? The people down them graves is rolling over, because it looks so disgraceful. If I see them billing planet graves, I look at the wall. It look really bad, I see them going into people's yards, clean up people's yards room like they can't finish and they can't come out the yard,
Yeah.
And then I got one little tree in my yard, one almond tree. I said I want to get cut down from off the side by my house. And I was asking, if one of them could give me a little help. They said they had talked to the politician. I said, well, we talk next 4 years. So that's how I look at that. I paid somebody to clean up my yard, but through the tree now I want to, somebody that know how to cut it, and at least I could have got that much out of the $16,000. I wasn't paying anything. I was just asking because maybe another hurricane might soon come now, and at least, that I can get that tree away from the roof. Right. A little bit out of that $16,000 from 4 representatives from West Bay. I feel sad that I can't get one little somebody from all that whole group that come and cut my tree down.
Or maybe that'll change.
Trim it down low.
Right. Well, I hope you get it. Hopefully this now would, find a good Samaritan. But thank you, and I hear it, and I, you said 16, I thought it was 15, but $1 here, 1,000 there, it all goes somewhere. But thank you very much, and with great deference to all of our callers. Hour is now, and it seems that tomorrow looms. So if we can, we invite you to join us then for more talk today, right after the midday news and the midday meditation. Join Mr. Art in the morning for the record. If it unfolds as scheduled, I'll have a reprieve until Monday coming, and you'll be able to, have the comfort, the convenience, and the conversation of another, pleasant voice. Hopefully Amjad will be even more pleased as I, take a little siesta, as it were. In West Bay, we would have a good fish dinner for lunch, and then sit in the hammock and enjoy the cool breeze as it blows through the hallway. Well, who knows what tomorrow might be. Until then, my friends, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.
shaken yet standing firm.
I was not built to